Hello, I'm Shubhangi and we are going to talk about defense mechanisms. Next one is displacement. Displacement refers to the transferring of one's emotional burden or emotional reaction from one entity to another. So, when I say these are two different things and I just displace them, right? So it is from here to here. How do I show this in a better way? Yeah, these are two things, one on the right and one on the left. All I'm doing is changing these and keeping it on the other side. So what did I do here? I displaced the object. So this is usually seen when parents or your significant other or your partner comes home and they are really stressed about their work, and you try to have a conversation with them, and the first thing that they do is they lash out. They are like, do not do this to me right now, or they're not ready to engage in a proper conversation. They're really angry about something, probably mad about something that happened to them in the work. Okay, so they are basically bringing an emotion from an entity that it belongs to, from an entity to an entity it does not belong to, from a place that it belongs to, and it's just completely thrown on to somebody else, even though it is not their fault. So this is also kind of defense mechanism. So the fifth one is projection. Projection is attributing one's own maladaptive inner impulses to someone else. This basically talks about, so when we spoke about displacement, it is basically displacing from one place to another. But when we talk about projection, it is like you are trying to, reflect something on the other person. It's like you're projecting your insecurities on somebody else. So a spouse who has, let's say, cheated on their partner, who has you know, who has had an episode of infidelity, they all of a sudden start suspecting that their partner is cheating, because now, just because they have cheated, they think even their partner is capable of cheating, or their partner, they get highly suspicious about what their partner are doing because they have been in a position. So they are actually lashing out about their own insecurities and the things that they actually mean for themselves. This is what usually happens, when there are things like hate comments or cyberbullying or basically projecting your own emotions onto somebody else. And this is not, you know, the sixth one is identification. So, identification is nothing but the internalization or reproduction of behaviors observed in others, such as a child developing the behavior of his or her parents without conscious realization of this process. This process is also known as introjection. So, what this basically means is when kids are young, and this is not something, I do not think that this usually happens when it is only a case of a kid. It also depends on who you surround yourself with. That's why your circle is really important, because let's assume, for example, a kid learns things that he sees around themselves, right? They are really malleable at a very young age, and they are able to absorb a lot of things, and they're able to absorb the values, the behaviors, the things that their parents do. So they're always watching. So when they start to deal with their stuff the way their parents deal with it. So let's say a parent, rather than actually expressing their emotion to their significant other, let's say the father is completely lashing out and fighting about things because he himself does not know how to actually deal with his emotions. So the only way he knows is to lash out to somebody. So even the kid, rather than actually trying to develop a way to express their emotions, a way to a way to communicate their emotions, they also learn the same thing as being aggressive, being avoidant, being aversive towards the whole conversations about emotions. I think I messed up the numbers. Eighth one. Eighth one. Eighth one is compensation. Compensation is focusing on achievement in one area of life in order to distract attention away from the inadequacy or the fear of inadequacy in another area of life. So let's say a student has really poor grades. He's really trying his complete best and he is always seen to have very bad grades. So in this situation, rather than actually understanding what is the cause or what is the reason why they are getting lesser marks or what in the way they are actually studying can be improved, they completely avoid this thing, and they're actually good at extracurricular activities in sports, so they completely redirect all of their effort towards sports and extracurricular activities. Even though this can be seen as something, putting your effort into where it actually matters, if this done in situations where it is a way of avoiding the places that you lack or you're inadequate, it is basically a way of saying that I don't need to work on something, I don't need to improve on something. So it kind of becomes this compensative behavior that if I'm not good at this, I might as well just put in all my effort. It's like all or nothing. The ninth one is humor. Decreasing or combating the negative emotions associated with a situation by using comedy. So I'm pretty sure a lot of us use this defense mechanism, and we have actually seen other people use this defense mechanism, especially when they're expressing about their traumatic events, because it's really hard for some people, or majority of us, especially in this day and age, it's really difficult to sit down and talk about your emotions in a way that lets you feel vulnerable. So people are really scared to be vulnerable, and scared, even more scared to be vulnerable to the wrong people. So it is really hard for people to sit down and talk about their emotions and, feel not heard by people, not having the space or the comfort, or let's say the confidentiality of actually talking to someone. And therapy can be really expensive for a lot of people, right? So we use these different type of defense mechanisms, and one of the biggest one is humor, because humor is an emotion that is expressed societally, and even the most traumatic things can be explained in terms of humor or dark humor.